While the rest of us may not be as excited about time dilation and perception as Dr. Sakudonas, we can surely appreciate her input.
Our journey takes us next into space, or rather, Toronto, where we talk with Dr. Lee, an astrophysicist, about the spatial anomalies known as black holes and wormholes and their relation to time travel.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Let's just jump right into the topic of holes.
Alright, Oliver, where do you want to start? Supermassive holes, we have stellar mass holes, we have mini holes.
I kind of like to start with black holes and what it is and why, a black hole is such an amazing phenomenon.
And a lot of people call them phenomenons, but it's not just a phenomenon, but an object. An object with a gravitational field so powerful that even light can't escape it. What is also amazing is that they can be as large as 1 billion of our suns put together, or as teeny tiny as one atom.
Okay, that's interesting. So how exactly are black holes formed? And once they're formed, how do they grow or develop? What's the deal with that?
Black holes are actually formed by a gravitational collapse of a star, or a collision between special stars called neutron stars. Larger black holes can start the same way, growing in size by absorbing mass from its surroundings in space. But no matter what size the hole, it started with a gravitational collapse.
It's interesting. When we talked earlier, you mentioned a relationship between black holes and wormholes and kind of our broader topic of time travel. How are these things correlated exactly?
Well, Oliver, let's begin by taking a stroll around an apple.
An apple?
Yes, an apple. A stroll along the outside of an apple. Let's pretend you're a worm, taking a nice stroll along the outside of a shiny red apple. You could get to the opposite side of the apple by walking around, or you could take the shortcut to the opposite side of the apple skin by burrowing through the center.
Ah, I get it. A wormhole. Okay. So is this analogy like where the name wormhole came from?
Precisely.
Cool. So how are black holes and wormholes related then?
A black hole, while rotating, could theoretically, emphasis on theoretically, provide wormholes once closer to their cores. Unfortunately, spaghettification would be a major concern.
Spaghettification? So going through a wormhole turns you into pasta?
In a way. Going into a black hole would mean being placed in such a high gravitational environment that after being stretched out like spaghetti, and dying in the process, you are torn into your component atoms, stripped of those electrons, and then ripped into protons and neutrons, then torn into quarks.
So an object that goes into a black hole gets broken down into kind of the most fundamental components that we understand today, quarks and electrons?
Yes.
Wow. So wormholes as a vehicle for time travel, not such a great idea as far as people are concerned?
Well, in theory it would work. If you accelerated one end of a wormhole to a higher velocity than the other, then bringing it back, this would create, in theory, remember in theory, a way to travel into the past, and relativistic time dilation would result, as seen by an outside observer. You would be going through the apple, not around it.
Okay, so an object placed into the accelerated wormhole's mouth would come out of the stationary mouth at a time prior to entering originally.
Yes, very good.
Okay, so in theory, wormholes could be a gateway to traveling back in the past, but because of the fact that wormholes are, hypothetical features of space-time anyway, nobody can say with any conclusiveness whether that's so.
Yes, exactly. Plus my colleagues and other peers are still theorizing to what a wormhole could actually connect. Locations in universes, alternate universes, time in the same universe or others, parallel universes. We just don't know. We can only speculate.
Okay. Well, thank you a lot, Dr. Lee. I feel like a vast empty hole in my understanding of time travel has been filled by you.
Well, thank you very much. Hi, Mom.
As Dr. Lee consistently pointed out, most of the discussion of time travel within the scientific community is theoretical these days.
However, because of the nature of time travel, we can't rule out the possibility that future advancements could manifest themselves within the present. For this reason, MIT hosted a time traveler convention on May 7, 2005, with the hope to attract time travelers. Unfortunately, if there were any time travelers there, they did not reveal themselves.
There is, however, one man who gained notoriety by claiming to be a time traveler, John Teeter. I sat down with him in order to judge the veracity of his claims.
Hello, Mr. Teeter. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Glad to be here.
So you claim to be a time traveler.
That's correct.
So are you from the past or the future or what?
I'm originally from the future, but I was in the past before I came here.
What were you doing in the past, sir?
Well, I went back to 1975 to get a computer.
But, why would you go to the past to get a computer? I mean, aren't computers better in the future?
Well, true, but we needed an old one for the legacy software.
And, so how do I know you're telling the truth?
Well, I can't show you my time machine or the computer from 1975, but...
Of course.
But I made predictions.
Yeah, I've read some of your predictions. 2004 being the last Olympics, or, what about the new American Civil War that was supposed to start 2 years ago?
Yes, I made those predictions, and they were wrong, but I can only assume that by traveling back into the past and making that information public, I somehow altered the future.
But, wait a minute, aren't you running the risk of causing a temporal paradox and killing us all?
Well, I think that maybe, but probably not because of the many universes theory.
Want to know what I think? I think you're full of shit.
I don't care if you believe me.
What year were you born, sir?
1998.
That makes you 9. You want a little candy? You want to go play some Xbox? No way, I got it. Let's go see the new Turtles movie, and then talk about whether Susie likes you, or just likes you.
You know, I don't need to sit here and take this. I work for the U.S. military.
You can't work for the military, sir. You're only 9.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, you better get back to the future. They're waiting for that ancient computer that's less powerful than the modern computerized toothbrushes.